seen yesterday, you guys seen me polish this particular wheel, actually. This is the one you guys watched me polish yesterday. Did the other one this afternoon after I got home from work. So I was able to get those wrapped up, two-stepped it, I got it ready. So now today we're gonna go ahead and coat these. I'm gonna be using C5 from Gtechniq. What wheel coating you want to use, I don't care. I'll link up a few in the description, and they're good reputable companies. That's a big key. Don't buy these things you see on Facebook, Instagram, or special, and it tells you it's got a 9H hardness. Just stick with brands. Gtechniq's a big brand in it. A lot of the brands are from overseas. CarPro's one of them. So, you know, stick with, I'll link up a few in the description that I believe. I like C5. The ease of application, that's a big thing to me. I'm not looking for giant amounts of durability. Give me a couple years and I'll be happy. The ease application is almost effortless, especially if you're new to this. That's why I continue to use it. Can't say I've tried any of the other ones, but what I have experienced with messing around with a few other actual coatings for cars, I use Gtechniq's Crystal Serum Light and top it with EXO from them. That's the ceramic coating I use as of right now. Subject to change, yes, but I have messed with a few other ones, and it's just the ease application isn't quite as easy. No, it may not protect quite as well, but and I'm not looking for durability for years and years and years. Some people might be. It's all gonna depend on what you're looking for. I like the ease application of this stuff. If you make it easy, I don't care. Make it easy on, make it easy to get, reasonable to get off. I don't really care. I'll reapply it 500 times in the life of a vehicle versus 2. You know, I just want some durability. But I'm gonna coat these after polishing to try to lock in from getting any more scratches. And if I do, I want it to be in the coating, not in the actual clear coat on the wheel. It's the idea behind it. They're very chemical resistant. They make wheel specific coatings like this. They'll handle heat. This is good, I think, up to 500 degrees. CarPro's, I think, is the 800. They have CarPro Deluxe. A lot of them are good for high temps, which your wheels see because of brakes and engine and exhaust. You can do your exhaust tips in it as well. I did mine on my pickup. I'll probably do them on this car whenever I do the whole body, but as of right now, I'm just doing wheels. So, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna get this started here. So what I got here is 2 bottles. One's a 30 mil, one's a 15. So I had a little left over here, so I want to use that up. And then I got a 15 mil bottle. Using theirs, I'm going to use their applicators. I don't really like them, but they're free with it, so I'm just going to go ahead and use those up. You get 4 of these little circular applicators. I normally get a use per coat. So one of these will be able to do the inner barrel and the face one time, and it'll be shredded most of the time, depending on your wheels. There's 4 in a pack. They want you to use an applicator per wheel, and if you're doing 2 coats, that's not happening. You're gonna need 8. So what I would recommend, get yourself some, I like actually using these more. They're micro suedes. These are by CarPro. Look up micro suedes, find yourself a reputable brand. I'll link up those ones in the description. I'm gonna go ahead and use these up because I've had them left over. I want to get rid of them. I used a whole pack on the back, and I'll use a whole pack on the front here, on the fronts. So I got my C5. Their applicators they provided, or micro suedes, or they have microfiber applicators specifically for coatings. Look those up, you can get those. I don't care how you apply it. And pick any of the 3, they all work. It's just a personal preference thing. And I also have gloves. Please wear gloves when you're ceramic coating. This stuff's, it doesn't smell bad, but you'll definitely know it's a chemical. The stuff gets hard on your hands, it gets in your pores, it can dry your skin out. It's just not good for you, so just wear some gloves. I don't wear gloves for a lot of things, but I'll wear gloves for this. We're gonna start with panel prep. I have an Eagle edgeless. You can use this. You can use I was using edgeless 365 to polish. You can wipe it with that. Good quality microfiber, that's what you want. Reasonable GSM, somewhere around 300, 5, that's fine. The plusher towels, I'm just trying to keep any more scratches from getting on here. That's why I'm using a plush towel. I don't really like them too much. So, shake the chemicals, the spray. Do the fronts. Just a nice light wipe. Try to get all the stuff off. That's all you're trying to do, is just try to get any residue of any polishing oils off that would interfere with the bond of your coating. So I'm just gonna wipe this off here. Try to keep it off your tire. I'll do it actually in Ace, so I don't have to concentrate as hard. I'm trying to keep it off the tire because I think it's kind of dressed, kind of not. So don't want to wipe hard. You're just wiping nice and easy, and you'll see it'll evaporate pretty quick. That's why, you know, there's probably some content of isopropyl alcohol in this, because alcohol is one thing that wipes that. See, there's little polishing oils right there, so I might even miss the spot. Now there it goes. All right, so get this wiped out here. So that's all wiped off. And go ahead, put that over there. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over and get the barrel. Give it a good wipe. This should be all good and clean. As you can see, you remember I deconned it in the first video and really cleaned all that dust out. And now you can see everybody would worry about, oh, this is your paint towel, you gotta specify it for wheels because you're wiping wheels. Well, tell me where the dirt is on there. This is a yellow towel, it'll show it, especially this bright yellow. I don't see no dirt, so I'm not really worried about it because it's clean now. That's why I'm using it. If I didn't think it was clean, I wouldn't be using it. So, that's not saying you don't pick up a little bit of brake dust somewhere, but I got news for you. There's brake dust everywhere. There's dirt everywhere. That's what these towels are made for. They're trying to help alleviate scratches. So, got that all wiped down good. Fronts, backs. I'm gonna start on the front because this will get dirty. You will find dirt. I promise you will find dirt. That does not stop me from finishing using it. So, shake your chemicals. I'm gonna shake both. This one hasn't been opened. This one, I just want to kind of look up at the light, see if there's anything floating in it. I don't see nothing. I just used it a couple weeks ago, so. Grab a paper towel. This one's already been open and sitting around, so it will kind of seal. So watch whenever you first take it off. I'm gonna kind of do it over the floor. And all the little chunks and stuff will fall out. I like to just, right before I take the lid off, trying to brush some of that off. Make sure it's on the floor. Do not let it get in your towel. This stuff will scratch. If it's almost like glass. It's not that hard, but it's hard enough it'll scratch anything you put it on that we're doing with it. So screw that the rest of the way off. You can see all the chunks. Some people will go out and buy droppers, medical droppers, like you put, God, I remember I used to take medicine at them. Little baby droppers or whatever they are. You can buy at the drugstore, wherever. And they'll take these tops off and then squeeze it, and that keeps all this from happening because this is a dropper on the top. Personally, it doesn't matter to me. See, I got a little bit in there, so we're gonna go ahead and pull that out. You want to try to keep from getting stuff in there. Yeah, that'll work. I'll accept that. See, there's little shards everywhere. Just want to get as many of them off as you can and not get them in the bottle. If I get them in the bottle, use it at your own risk if you want to. Stuff's kind of expensive, but yeah, I tend to err on the side of caution. I'll just use it, pay attention. Alright, got all that off. Now this is open. We're gonna be real easy. We're gonna wipe on the bottom side here. As I move each wipe, I want to get a different piece. Alright, I feel pretty good about that. You know, you got your seal here. See, that can break loose. Stuff's hard. It's real hard. So try to break off as much as you can here. There's no real good way to do this after it's been opened, but that's okay. I'm good with it. I feel okay with it. If you use it and then don't want to use it the next time, totally up to you. I won't judge you for using it or not using it after it's been opened. That's fine. I feel okay with it. Just pay attention if you do. If you get some hard pieces in it under the applicator, that's okay. So, put your gloves on here. Now, something you're going to want to do at the end, actually, if you're going to take some time to do this, you know, it's always good to put the lid back on. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to get this nice and wet. Oh. That's pretty much the end of that bottle already. See, just did all that work for no reason. But I'll get, a good chunk of this wheel done. So, getting wet. Pick a spot you know where you're starting and stopping. So I'm going to start the valve stem. It's always a good place to start so you know where you've been. And just wipe on up and down, across the fronts, around here. I'm going to go this way. I'm probably going to go over the whole wheel. I've done this a few times, but you know, take your time. If you feel like you really got to pay attention, I did it the first time I polished wheels. It's okay. Take your time. Do a couple spokes, wait. Pay attention to the product. Okay, it's already dried up to a certain extent. So, crack open a new bottle. I already shook this up. See, there's already chunks there, and this was never opened. I should have checked this before. And now I have an applicator. I gotta watch what I'm doing here, so let's get that off. Always good to check your stuff before you start, because you can run into this stuff before. You can run into this even with new bottles. I've done it. Heck, I've had them come half unsealed. So, nothing you can do to keep this stuff from crystallizing. I almost feel more comfortable putting that in that other bottle there. I might do that, because I already wiped this one out. I feel okay about using it. And it's free. The other one's packed full of garbage. So that's what I'm gonna do. Actually, you know what? I'll just switch the dauber. I think the daubers are the same here. So what you can see here, I'll bring this up close here. You can see the difference there. You can see all the material build up in there. You see the little bubbles on this one, and this one's clear. It's because there's all that material's got up in there in the vent and plugged and then crystallized and got hard. So now there's no vent. So move one over from this bottle. Same size, just I already wiped it off. I feel good about using this. Now look at that, I gotta fix that. Simple solution. It's all about working through this stuff. Put a little more on there. Wipe it on. As I've been talking, I might have waited too long. It's okay. Stuff's, like I said, if I like to ease application, you can run into some problems. You don't have to be in a giant rush. Get it off. I read the directions. Pretty much what I'm telling you to do here is basically the directions at this point. Make sure you get all up in here. Up there, yeah, I got a little on the tire, that's okay, be fine. Get it all up in here, get up in there. Put a little more on there, it's okay. No, some people argue you can't put too much on, you gotta watch. They really make coatings sound hard, and they're just not hard. I believe anybody can do it if you just got a little bit of patience and pay attention. That's my belief. So I was that way at one point. Worried about what am I going to do if I screw up. There's always a fix. So that's okay. Now I like going over with a second coat, try to build it up a little bit, and it'll also let me get, if I miss any spots on this round here. Holes here that'll keep all the dental, rinse everything free, nice and clean. When you're washing your car, or run it through a car wash, or whatever you feel like doing with it. Your vehicle, outline around this lip here. All right. I feel like I probably missed a few in between these spokes. That's why I say stay organized. I'm just gonna go back over them just to know I hit them. And it looks like I missed some of them. I've already got some hardening of it. Perfect. All right, here. If you get a high spot, heck, I'm gonna use the other cap too. It's all chunked up. Blow it out. Same size, luckily, even though they're just different size bottles. I got a removal towel. All right. Sorry about that. I had to climb all the way to the top. The shelf over there. Towels tucked away in plastic because I don't use them often, so I don't keep them in my cabinet. So these are pearls from Rag Company. I'll put a link in the description. These are coating removal towels. I don't know what the GSM is, but they call them a pearl because they're a pearl weave. Kind of look like little pearls, little circles here. So, want this? It's for removal. Initial to level, final. If you want to get a little Sharpie, you can write in the corner, you know, L for level, F for final. I do that. I'm not going to do it whenever I do paint. I do that. I don't do it with wheels because I think I can keep it up. You can buy 2 different colors. They have, I think, purples, grays, and they have green ones that have edges on them. I don't really like those, but I have used them. They don't. They're okay. So, all right. So I'm going to let that sit. I think I've let that set long enough. So we're going to go ahead, start leveling. Not a lot of pressure. We're just doing a general wipe over here, just to level down any high spots that are here. How long you're supposed to wait, it's all going to depend on your environment. I can read you the directions here when I wipe this section off here. I don't think they actually really give you a lot of time. I think they just tell you to put it on and wipe it off. So, but if you do get some high spots because it starts to dry, something you can try to do, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So you can try to put a little more on your applicator pad and go back over that spot. Sometimes that'll reactivate it, as long as it's not going to be fully cured, of course. So make sure you get all this, and then it'll let you get it off. So just looking here, making sure got a few streaks. It's okay. I'm just trying to level it down a little bit here, get the bulk off. That's what this first wipe's for, is just to get the bulk off. I do the same when I'm polishing. I got a long nap side for when I'm polishing. That lets me get the bulk off, and then I come back in, flip it over to the low nap side, just then I'm able to just kind of take the rest of it off, wipes right off. So don't try to do it all in one pass. Just want to make sure I got even here. All right. Normally, if I don't label them, I kind of set them off to the side. You'll kind of see one's going to have more coating on it than others. So one's going to look a little more wet, and that's because that's going to be your initial towel because you're wiping the bulk of it off. So let me go over this here. Stuff holds up okay. It's good for, I'm trying to think here, how long was it good for? Year or two. All depends on how you drive your car. This car will probably be on there for 4 because I just don't drive it all that often. It's still on my pickup truck. It's been on there 6-8 months. My girlfriend's car, yeah, it's wearing off, but she's got 12 on hers in a year, you know, but she drives it every day. So it's all going to depend on how you drive, where you live, the conditions you run in, humidity, temp, all that stuff's going to make a difference in how the stuff holds up. So they make claims that it's been tested that, you know, last year or 2, but that's not the way I look at things. I don't look at things like that. I don't care. Like I said, I'm looking for ease of application. Stuff holds up good enough for me. Looks good, easy to apply. Like I said, an untrained kid could probably do this, I believe. But what you're doing is just making sure you don't have any high spots. You're trying to get everything off the edge here. Like I said, If you look on the applicator, yes, you're gonna have some dirt. It'll be okay. No major deals. No worries. Do it once over here. I'm gonna flip it over. That gives me what I would consider a third towel. If you want to get a third towel, you can. I'll just flip it over. I'm good with that. I'm gonna get as much of that off as I can. I don't want to leave any high spots. What high spots will actually look like, no one's ever explained this to me. High spots in any coating, they say it looks like a high spot. Well, what does a high spot look like? Because no one shows you. High spot looks like a wipe mark. A wipe. So if you say wipe a dirty car, this is kind of an example. Dusty car, wipe it down. You miss a spot. Whenever it dries, it'll look like it did whenever you wiped over, but you didn't get it off. So it dries as a mark, a couple streaks, but it's dust. So you'd be like, oh wow, I missed a spot. And you take some and you wipe it off. I don't recommend any of this, but this is just per se. What a high spot is, it looks exactly like that spot on the car that got wet and you were wiping it and you missed a spot. And there's like where you kind of drug over it but didn't get it off the surface. It's kind of what it looks like. That's the best way I can explain it because I've experienced high spots. And I'm like, what are these white marks for? And I thought it was for my panel prep, and I come to realize I've done it a couple of times. I was able to reactivate it. I'm like, oh, okay, they went away, cool. And the next time I actually had to polish it off, and I went, that's a high spot. That's what it looks like. This is something no one ever tells you. I think everybody out there that shows you how to do coatings needs to show you what a high spot is, or explain what a high spot is. Not exactly what it is, what does it look like? Because I was literally looking for a spot that looked like you wiped and it's got like a waviness, like a brush went through it. It's not what it ended up being. It ended up being just a different color in the paint. So I did it on my girlfriend's car and I did it on my pickup truck. Hers is light blue, mine's dark blue. And they both look like spots of like that stuff or something dried on the surface. It just kind of changed the color in white marks. And it's high spots is what that is. So I had to learn that on my own. Luckily, I was able to get them squared away and it didn't bother nothing. And, I was freaking out. And, that was a fear of mine why I don't like coatings. And what scared me from coatings is getting high spots. So one day here, I will, maybe I'll show you what maybe I'll get a panel or something. I got some panels from my truck over here. I'll show you what a high spot is, what they look like. I'll actually do like an old tailgate I got. I'll polish up a spot on it and wipe some coating on it and just leave it. And then you'll know what a high spot looks like under paint. Here I am preaching about people need to show you, but people don't even explain it. They just say it's a high spot in the coating. Oh, it's a spot that didn't get wiped. Well, yeah, I know what can cause it. What does it look like? Physically look like when it's dry. They only ever talk about that a little bit. I don't ever show you, so maybe I'll grab a panel. I think that'd be a good education for anybody who wants to try to get the coatings. Know what a high spot looks like. I think that should be number one. Nobody teaches it, so yeah, I probably wiped on that a little much. That'll be all right. So that's done. I've done all that. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna grab my scan grip light. Just kind of look. You'll see where maybe you missed a little bit. Like I said, these wheels aren't perfect. What you want is kind of a diffused light. This is not a diffused light, but it definitely tells me where there's high spots. At least I can see it. You can get yourself a shop light, a Berea shop light, 4-foot strip that plugs into the wall on a switch. One has a little switch in the extension cord. You can use that. You're looking for diffused light. They make diffusers for some of these other lights. I don't want to buy them. It doesn't matter. I figured out how to, I know what a high spot looks like, so I know what I'm looking for. So, and yes, there's still scratches in this. I know that. If you see them, I'm sorry, but it looks like there might be a little bit of a high spot right there. Let me take a look here. See? I don't know if that's a high spot or what that is. It might be just something going on in the finish, but here's what I'm gonna do. Leave that on. Put a little bit of this on. It might even be enough in this pad still. Lay it back over. All right. Take my initial towel here. Yep, see, wipe that on there. Looks like I don't see it no more, so I see another spot here. I did see a couple spots down here, so. Hopefully I've reactivated it, so I put it on. Now we're just gonna wipe it back off. Give it a second, should wipe it off. Should be good to go. And if there's a high spot, well, somehow I think I'll manage to live. Not the end of the world. If you got a black card, it might show. If you're looking for perfection, you're in the wrong garage. I don't do too much perfection. I just I take things that are really beat and do better. That's what I'm looking for, better. Actually, give me a chance. Something else that feared me with coatings is the idea of one day I have to take them off. You know, there ain't very many videos of those. So there's some you have to sand off. There's some that'll come off with a finish polish, with a simple compound. For me, couldn't tell you. A lot of people don't know, other than professional detailers, because always put your lids back on your chemicals. A lot of people don't show you because the DIY guy at home don't keep their cars long enough. Guys that can afford a car like I have, keep them for like a year and get rid of them. That doesn't do you no good. They never figured out how to take it off either. They get rid of them before. That's what feared me. No one shows you how to take them off. They'll tell you how to take them off. I think it's one of those things you got to experience for yourself. Speaking of taking off, if you're gonna, as I mentioned, I had these rebalanced. So, I did not want to do it. I did not want to do any of this until they got rebalanced, because there's a good chance when you put this coating on, your wheel weights won't stick no more until it wears off. And I may run into this problem next year. That's where I'm probably going to have to definitely learn how this comes off. I think this will come off with a simple compound quickly after it wears for a little bit. But yeah, wheel weights don't like to stick. That's the idea of this stuff. It doesn't want things sticking to the paint. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're gonna you're gonna do your wheels, but you need tires. My recommendation is wait till you need to get tires. Get yourself a spray sealant or something of that sort, and throw on it just to get you by. If you're worried about your wheels, just to help aid a little bit, some protection. Sounds better than none. And then after you get your new tires or go get your wheels rebalanced and everything, then do it. Because you're not going to need them for another couple of years. But at that point, this is probably going to be wore off. And that's whenever you reassess what you're doing, what you need to do with your wheels and tires. If you need tires again, get them done. When you get them rebalanced, it's the time to get them done. See, dirt. But I did most of that inner barrel. So you might have missed a spot right there. Look around here. Flashlight, you'll see where it's dry right there's a spot. But yeah, that's something you need to consider when you're doing this. So I just had mine rebalanced, but I may run into the fact that I may get new tires in the spring. So we're talking, this is October now. I might be getting new tires here in May. Well, this car's gonna sit all winter, so this thing's not gonna really see any heat. Granted, I am gonna go to North Carolina here with it next week, I think. From upstate New York, so you know, I'll probably put 1,400 miles on the car, but after that I'll probably get parked for the rest of the year. So yeah, that's it's just a consideration. Something some people don't tell you up front about these is so yeah, if you gotta get tires, I'd recommend just hold them off And then if like me, I'll probably have to polish. I'll take a compound and compound it off there. How do you know when it's off? I don't know. We might find out together. And maybe I go get new tires for it and I try to compound it off and it doesn't come off and I think it's gone. And the wheel weights blow off. It is what it is. Life brings the spice of life. There's unknowns. I'm trying to make as minimal unknowns as possible. I've gotten pretty good at getting rid of unknowns. That's why we do these things. So let the hang out on there. Actually, the directions here somewhere. Let's just take a look. I've never really read them too much. I did at first. Let's see here. Yeah, see, several drops of product and spread the coating onto the surface of the rim. No more than half a rim each time. So they want you to do a half a rim. I can tell you can do more than a half a rim. You guys just watch me do a whole front. So basically I did a whole inner barrel. So basically do a whole wheel. You can do a half wheel, you can do a quarter of a wheel, wipe it off. So it's kind of a wipe on, wipe off. It's kind of why, it's kind of the vibe I always got from Gtechniq stuff. Kind of a wipe on, wipe off deal, you know. And you can even, if you put it on here well enough in the back, like back here, it doesn't look great. It's already got groove lines. You can just leave it on there. So I did my first towel. We're gonna go ahead, wipe as much as I can here. Yes, there's still tar in here. Yes, this is not perfect, but I tell you. You're going to be very impressed with, if you do this, how easy it is to keep these things clean. And that's why I'm doing it. Back here doesn't really matter so much. I am going to go ahead and hit these just real quick. I almost have a tendency just to leave it on the back of the spokes, full blast, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't look good anyways, and you don't ever see it. So we'll go around here and just do a quick wipe off. Like I said, everybody would want you to level it. It's the back of the wheel here, so don't worry about it. Be okay. Unless you got like chrome wheels or some high-end wheel, and maybe you'd worry about it. Even then, inner wheel wells or inner barrels, inner wheels, it doesn't matter. Still don't see them. I don't care what car you have. It ain't like you got reversible wheels. You're not gonna see the backs. So, all right. So what I like to do, I did the front. So the pad was, as you can see, this is why I say dirt doesn't bother it as much, but I'm not gonna go take this and put this on the face of my other wheel. I'm gonna do 2 coats and I only got 4 pads, so I only got enough to do 2 coats on 2 wheels. So, or you can attempt to use the back. Totally up to you. All right, so I did the front and rear. Wiped it off, but because I was hitting in the back spokes, I want to flip it back over and make sure none of it transferred onto the front. So, great. Just kind of look, you'll be able to see if there's wet spots. Looking pretty good to me. Let's see where I really get it on the back. I was also being cognizant about it, trying to watch and make sure I don't get it on the front. These things are so beat up, it isn't really gonna matter when you'll notice it. They look a lot better, but they're still pretty beat up. All right, call that good. Nowhere in their directions do they tell you how long to wait. Nowhere do they tell you how long to wait for a second coat. No one says about anything about a second coat. If you want to do 1 coat and call it good, that's fine by me. Doesn't matter. I do 2 coats. Does it really serve a purpose? I don't know if it'll layer or not, but it also gives me a chance of, if any spots got missed, it's kind of like going over it and letting me hit those spots. So if it doesn't stick to anything else, but you had a few spots you missed and you didn't know, you know you got it covered probably if you go over it a second time. Totally up to you. I've done 2 coats on every wheel I've ever done, so. But I do like to let it sit for, I don't know. So It took me about 10, probably 15 minutes to go ahead and coat those. 10 minutes, front and backs. I'll let them sit for probably 30, 35. If you want to be safe, you can wait an hour and then recoat them. Like I said, they don't say nothing in the directions about doing a second coat. I just do it for my reassurance. And if it adds something, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So, all right, so one thing I did forget to mention. When you're all done with your towels that you use to wipe with, first and second, and I don't care, throw them out. Throw them in the trash. Throw them in your rag bin for wiping oil off the floor or whatever. Throw them away. They'll crystallize. They'll scratch paint. You don't want to use them on anything delicate. Use it to mop up a mess. I recommend just throwing them away. I have a tendency to throw them in my junk rag pile for the garage. It has some terry towels and whatnot. I throw them in the washer. I throw these in with them. That's not normally how I take care of them, but because I would normally throw these away, I figured, well, I'll throw them in there, wash them, and then I can use them for mopping up oil off the floor or wiping out some kind of a oil drip or something, and then throw them out when I'm all done. At least I get another use out of them. Or you can just chuck them in the trash. Do not use them on paint or anything else on your car. They're going to be hydrophobic. They're not going to absorb anything most of the time. Oil, I'll mop up what I can. Most of the time oil, I don't let it lay around anyways and wait for it to absorb up into the rag. I just want to kind of puddle up the mess. But it won't absorb cleaners or anything. So, yeah, just figured I'd let you know. Make sure you toss them in the trash or completely degrade them to shop towels for mopping up the floor or something. So, thanks. So, yeah. That's how you coat a wheel. That's how I coat a wheel. So, I'll leave links to a lot of products here I use. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you have a coating and you're a professional out there, if I did something wrong, hey, please feel free to leave something in the comments if it'll help improve me. I'm always willing to learn. That's why I make these videos, because there's some content out there I don't think is specific enough sometimes. Maybe they don't remember what it was like to be new, or they're trying to meet certain numbers or whatever. I'm just doing this at home. I'm no different than you sitting at the house watching this right now, trying to figure out how to do this. That's why I started this channel. I'm on YouTube every day, I swear, trying to find something. And most of the time I find my answer. It takes a little bit of digging. I gotta watch really long videos. So, that's okay. So, greatly appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for more content. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Car will be back together and down on Jack Stan's big trip. As long as everything goes all right, I think it's gonna be done for the winter. So I think I might start into this. I think I'm gonna redo our bathroom, and then I'm gonna go back to work on my Power Stroke project over here, my diesel. Maybe try to get it wrapped up this winter. So appreciate it. Stay tuned if you're interested in any of that stuff. And have a good one.